Hello everybody and welcome to another Zerta MTG testing video. Today I have something a little interesting for you. It is Dimmir Flash, or Big Flash as I'm calling it, because our plan is to go into the late game and try and leverage card advantage and tempo. This basically plays out like Splinter Twin minus a combo. So you're going to try and stop what your opponent's doing from being relevant for as long as possible, deal with their threats as they come up, and then try and tempo them out with your bigger threats. Bigger threats being Slitherwisp and Sea Dasher. We have a lot of interaction despite how this might seem. We have 2 Tyrant Scorn, 2 Heartless Act, 2 Cast Down, and 4 Brazen Borrower to interact with creatures, and 3 Negates, 2 Mystical Dispute to deal with other kinds of spells. We're playing 2 Shark Typhoon. I had this as Chemister's Insight previously, but I decided to opt to be a little bit more resilient to a Teferi. Honestly, I don't think we have a bad Teferi matchup because of our just our large creature count, and we can still just play them out at sorcery speed and apply pressure to a Teferi. But that being said, I do like the idea of being able to end step a 3/3 uncounterable threat. So I opted for Shark Typhoon for the video. I'd been testing with Chemisters, and while it was very, very good, I wanted to try out Shark Typhoon for all of you. So I'll be seeing how this is at the same time you guys are. Well, you guys and gals. The reason for the split on removal spells is Tyrant Scorn is honestly probably the best of these. It allows us to even reuse our Brazen Borrowers if they're pointing some removal spells at them. Kills basically anything we need to, but it does have some gaps in it, and we do want to be able to kill things instead of just bouncing them when they are larger. And that's where Heartless Act comes in. This will destroy basically anything, but once again, has a few gaps in it. Anything with a counter on it, so if it's like a Flourishing Fox, a what's it called, the red creature, the Steamkin, Hydroid Krasis, anything like that, we're going to have a hard time if it's just between these two. I guess Tyrant Scorn would hit what Heartless Act didn't, but that's where we have Cast Down. The reason we're not all in on Cast Down is because of Questing Beast, which is why we have the Heartless Axe, and for most of the format we have Tyrant Scorn. If I was really pressed, I guess I would just play a split between these two, but I really think the Tyrant Scorn is worth it. Being able to bounce your own creatures is really, really good, and sometimes being able to just bounce their big threat for a turn is all you really need. We also have 4 Brazen Borrowers, which are really, really good at allowing us to keep tempoing out our opponent. We only have 4 1-drop creatures to pair with our Sea Dasher Octopus, simply because we're not really very low to the ground, but we do still want some 1-mana threats, both to pair with Slitherwisp, and also to just kind of enable the Sea Dasher on turn 2 in the matchups where we care about that. Only 2 copies of Opt and 21 lands. I feel like we don't really need as many cantrips when we have... This is actually a lot more card advantage than it looks like. Card advantage here, there, and there. We just tend to draw a large amount of cards, and sometimes the mana can be tight because we've filled up our 2-drop and our 3-drop spot quite a bit. 1 Castle Vantress. I only really have 1. I'd only really play 1. I do want to drop a Swamp for a Castle Lochwain, although I'm not entirely sure because our black count is low, and it feels like it would come into play tapped most of the time. I think I might play a 4th Slitherwisp, but I also think I might drop it down to 2. Just based on, how do I put this, the double black can be quite brutal. When Slitherwisp is good, do not get me wrong, when you can cast a Slitherwisp, it is by far the best card in your deck. But you can't always cast it when you draw it. And it's not really a fault of the mana base so much as it is a fault of, well, it is a fault of the mana base, but it's not so much a fixable fault, because we don't want anything coming into play tapped on the first 3 turns of the game. We want to be able to curve out with 1, 2, 3 as often as physically possible, and having a third land come into play tapped. So if we were to be playing Temples, for instance, that would really hurt us. If we were to be playing the Fabled Passage, which I normally really like playing, that would really hurt us because it doesn't come into play tapped until turn 4, and at that point we're hoping to already be set up. We can play the early game, reactive game of kill a creature, bounce a creature, counter a spell, and then have ourselves set up with threats later. But that's not really where we want to be. The other reason Spectral Sailor is the only 1-drop is it has the activated draw card ability, which can really dig us out of some tough spots. And basically, it comes into play on turn 1, and it's not bad if it comes into play on turn 5, because then it comes into play and draws you another card in their end step, and they have to deal with it, or it starts to get really out of hand. In any case, that is the deck. Pretty basic and straightforward. Don't know why I took so long on this. But let's go ahead and jump into some games. With Big Flash. And now that the deck tech's over, and those of you who are going to stay around or staying around, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and I would vastly appreciate it. On the play against an Umori deck, Umori is kind of concerning, but I'm going to keep, I have a turn 2 Brineborn. Hopefully I don't need to deploy the Trickster on 2, I'm not sure what would make me. But, yeah, I'm liking the same. Lead on a tap land. That actually might make me, but I think I'm going to wait. Because now I'd be able to stop them from deploying a 3-drop on turn 2. Brineborn? Yeah, that's fine. I'm mostly creatures anyway. Play land. No attacking here serves me no purpose, so I'll just end. Just trying to think if there was a way to grow myself out of range, and there really wasn't. Alright, they can now afford to stomp. Adonto Vanguard, I'm going to be saving the Trickster for. And I'm going to block. It could be risky. Because of, no, they can't stomp here. Alright. So, block. Sea Dasher. Mutate on. Place it over. Goodbye, Thalia. Ooh, I guess they can stomp now, actually. Because now their Thalia's gone. Oh. Gonna get my threats on board while I can. Excellent. Now, all attack. Well, that's odd. Huh, no, I suppose not. I will deploy my Merfolk Trickster to kill the Adonto Vanguard here, should they choose to attack. Note, it should shrink here, and it also won't be able to gain Indestructible. So this is just pure profit, and the opponent has seen enough. They don't want to deal with a 5/5, a eventual card advantage engine, and losing their creature as I gain one to the double blue Doomblade that leaves a body behind. Alright, so that was pretty much a steamroll. That's what the deck likes to do on the play. Most of the blue deck hate doesn't really hurt us outside of Mystical Dispute. Or at least it's not so much it doesn't hurt us as it doesn't stop us from deploying our own game plan. I like this, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. This isn't the best hand, especially against Yorion, but I think it's good enough that I keep. I will, however, not be deploying the Sea Dasher on my turn 2. Up! I've had enough. Or they've had enough, I suppose. They don't want to face the turn 1 Spectral Sailor. That's one way to get out of Plat 3. I can't really blame them. Mono blue tempo, very good. Not exactly the easiest thing to beat, and if you think you're going to lose anyway, you might as well get on with it. Especially if you're only trying to rank. That's when you just admit that your time is more valuable than 1 win, when you could get 2 wins in the time it would take you to lose. Now this is kind of what I mean about the Slitherwisp. I'm on the play. This negate is worthless. This mystical dispute will be too slow. I have nothing to pair with the Slitherwisp. Yeah, I'm gonna mull that. Oh, those negates are bad, but I'm binning one and I don't want to go down. So it's like I'm already on 5, but, you know, without being on 5. Hopefully they also mull to give us a little bit of this handicap back. Yeah, I'm keeping. Goodbye, negate. Who knows? Maybe it is Umori Honden's. I guess I should have played an island. Alas. Oh. No such luck. Well, at least we're able to not go down any cards from that Yarok's Fenlurker. We also will not be playing into their game of we're not going to be bouncing this, basically. Which is a shame. I'd like to have deployed the Brazen first. No problem taking 1. Not Expector. That we will simply Borrower bounce. Don't want to just deploy a naked Borrower is why. Here I might Shark Typhoon for 2 to eat their Fenlurker. I think I'm going to. They can trade, but it would put them off an entire turn, and I'm fine with that. Especially while we're just trying to set things up ourselves. So don't really mind if they spent their turn pumping. Nice, another Shark Typhoon. We have no fear. They could have a Swift End though, so I think this turn we're going to cast down and then deploy Brazen. I think that's what I like. That way we get to kill their creature, save the Shark Typhoon for when it can be an even bigger flying threat. Foo-foo. Okay, Rankle it is. So here, deploy Brazen Borrower. Their block. So it doesn't have first strike, right? Block. Then cast down the Spectre. And there you go. This is how you tempo. The flying 4/4 in their end step is going to be pretty good. The Brazen Borrower being able to, ooh. Oh. Okay. This is, kind of a scary turn from them. gonna say the brazen would be nice to bounce that after they pump, but now, whew. Alright, so I think we can easily beat... Is that only sorcery speed? Okay, excellent. Upkeep. No reason to wait on Wrathborn. End turn. Upkeep. We will bounce their Fiend Artisan, because they can only activate any time they could use a sorcery. And this way we keep their biggest threat off the board. Nothing we can really do about Pack Rat except try and fight it in the skies. They can only have creatures, so outside of Swift End on Murderous Rider. And I guess Cavalier of Night. Let's see. They'll probably be sacrificing... There's nothing I can do, so... Resolve. They're gonna kill my 4/4. They're sacrificing Pack Rat? Well, I suppose. Oh, that's a big load off my shoulders. I thought I was dead, but I guess I've just got this, right? I mean, not quite, but I'm not afraid. I'll play this so that I can continue to scry without needing to worry about them just taking it out of my hand with a Fenlurker or something. Lifelink is a problem, but not a huge one. They do have to attack. I'll be able to... I guess it would be a trade with the knight. Doesn't gain lifelink, right? Death touch? You know, no, it wouldn't even be a trade. No blocks. So I scry into removal. I think I've got this, right? Yeah. If I can scry into something to deal with that. Yep. Nope, they'll have 2 blockers. For shame. Alright, let's go looking. Sea Dasher. If only those were counters. So Cutthroat doesn't do it. I think I want the Sea Dasher though. It only uses up 2 mana. And it's gonna let me start getting some card advantage. So yeah, I like it. I'll attach it to the Brazen. No, I'll attach it to... Yeah, the Brazen does more damage, so I'd rather keep it safe. I am a little sad that I'm not able to quite do this the way I wanted. Alas. Nice. What's in their yard that I care about? Rankle, Hippie, Pack Rat. Oof, another Rankle. Alright, well if it attacks, I'm happy, I suppose. Alright, what else do you plan on? Hello, Spectral Sailor. Let's see. For shame. Alright. Now let's make sure. So that's going to be 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, so if I eat there, chump there. So I'd go to 1 if I just block, let it die. Or if I'm just letting it die, I don't really want them making me sack. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this leaves me alive. At 1 life. Stop on my upkeep. Alright, they opted not to. Oh, well, nothing that you could do about that. Gary had us either way there. Oh, I guess we're still plat 2. Guess we have a shield for reaching it or something? Rank decay shield? Not really sure how the rank system works. I used to know, but I heard that they changed it a lot, so... So that is a problem. Occasionally you run into the all-creature deck, and your negates are really, really bad. That's a problem with best of 1. I think this is a better best of 3 deck. I'm just not entirely sure how I would build the sideboard. Opponent goes first. I don't really mind. I'll play a tapped Watery Grave on 1. Turn 2, I'll deploy the Brineborn. Got plenty of threats if this is some kind of a control deck. Which I imagine it is. Gonna be really sad if they play a Teferi, but seeing the forest makes me a little less concerned about that. Migration path. I think this is the... Don't think they're gonna change it. Alright, so this is definitely the Field of the Dead deck. Meaning I need to get some pressure on them very quickly. I'll pass this turn. End of turn, I'm gonna go Brineborn Spectral. I just don't want to lose my cutthroats early. Arrow's fine. Nothing I can do about it with this hand anyway. I think that's tapping how I want. Now we have a pretty formidable board. Even if the Uro does come down, we have double Brazen Borrower to, you know, prevent it from doing anything we care about. Gonna get to hit them for 4 on this turn. I guess a little bit more, because we will see Dasher onto the Sailor. I don't think it's worth saving to pump them when I could just get my card advantage going. And look for my negates and my mystical disputes. Mutate onto the Sailor. Over it, obviously. All attack. Alright. We do 5 damage. Get our card draw going. Play an island. So things we really want to dodge involve sweepers, and not too much else. Brazen Borrower affords us a decent amount of leeway. Do not mind. We will straight up just bounce that and let them get another trigger. Bounce the Cavalier, double pump. Play a land. Hit them for slightly over half their life. draw an extra card, and end the turn. Ulamog. Phew. Okay. I think we have it though. Because we're gonna bounce the Ulamog, deploy Brazen Borrower. I suppose we'll do that in the other order. Sorry, Ulamog. Do not care. Get in there. And there you have it. They targeted the wrong cards with that Ulamog. If they had hit our 2 Brineborns, we would have had a lot more trouble there. I don't really blame them. They thought that they had a safe threat to stick. They didn't really think of double Brazen, I suppose, or Tyrant Scorn. Anyway, let's get right back into it. You see, YouTube, I can do it when I play a good deck. Just, not when I'm playing an endless stream of bad brews. Not even bad, just, budget decks. Testing things out for videos that I think might be decent. I'll keep this, and I'll lead on the island because it lets the rest of our hand come in untapped. But I think my first threat will be the Brineborn. I just don't have a reason to lead on Sailor without a Sea Dasher. Suppose if they play a 1-drop haste threat, I might just Spectral Sailor it. Don't need to reveal the black, but I kind of like revealing it, because it makes them less likely to think that I'm Flash. Just because Dimmir Flash isn't really played in Historic that often, but Mono Blue really is. Alright, so I don't suspect this is going to live, but I still think it's right to play it here. Yep, there's Lightning Strike. Without an island. Can't quite use Castle Vantress yet, and don't want them planning on how to deploy their hand in such a way that I won't be able to use it the turn I want to. I'm gonna, Actually, do I just want to kill the... No, I want to be as efficient with my mana as I can. And if they have a, what's it called? The one that lets them play off the top of their library, then they have it. But I might not get another chance to deploy that's as good as that one. Alright, so I'm going to Merfolk Trickster plus kill. That way, they won't be able to get their tokens off of their trigger. Excellent. And now we can deploy Spectral Sailor and draw a card all on the same turn. Then we can make up some of the card advantage we lost when we started to make land drops that they were missing, because they have a higher spell count right now. Spectral Sailor. Activate ability. Attack with the Sailor. Hey look, we're ahead on life against Mono Red. We also get to both cast down our Heartless Act and activate the Sailor this turn. So this is really going to start pulling us ahead. I'm okay with trading Merfolk Trickster off. I think I'd rather activate Sailor first before I go making any rash decisions. Yeah, I'll trade off with the Lava Runner. It's kind of a weird decision here, because on the one hand, I could draw another Sailor to trade with the Pyromancer, but on the other, if I do another Trickster, then being able to just tap it, make it lose its ability, and block without trading is also pretty good. I will Heartless Act here. Kill the Fervent Champion. I don't like the first strike on that. Makes things a little more difficult than I feel they need to be for me. I'll activate first. Bounce the Steamkin. Could be possible I'd want it to just kill the Lava Runner that turn though. Before I attack. I won't attack here. Now I've gotten to the point where I've drawn enough cards and I have the Slitherwisp as a second card advantage engine that I'm just going to block the Pyromancer, cast down the Lava Runner. Though I will admit I'm not a big fan of... I guess I'll double cast down this turn. Do not activate ability, as much as I would like to. Cast down the Lava Runner, save ourselves some life. Oh, well that's an interesting choice. I'm still going to cast down the Steamkin as well. Excellent. Deploy. Deploy. So that I get my card draw now. I'll just hold up the negate so that I'll be able to counter any kind of removal spell on the Slitherwisp. No need to deploy the Spectral Sailor when I can't use it yet. There is some risk to doing it this way, but I really do want to defend that Slitherwisp. Oh, that's... I couldn't have asked for a better target. Countering their Bone Crusher Giant is pretty big, because it means you also counter the creature, and they don't get the card advantage off of it. Deploy the Brineborn here. Play a tap land, I suppose. Hit them in the air. And end my turn. Alright. I'll deploy the Spectral Sailor, ping them, draw a card, get a counter on my Brineborn, hopefully draw another threat I can play. Alas, no such luck. I'll draw another card though. Could still be a Sailor. Nice. Yeah, I think I'm still just gonna trade off the Brineborn and the Spectral. I'll be left quite ahead on board, and woohoo! Well, I would have been, but that might change things up a bit. guess here, Slither Wisp first and hope to chain. Done. I think that might actually be game, right? No, not quite. Pretty close though. And this petty theft might opt a... Ooh, that petty theft might be pretty painful actually. So I think I'll petty theft the... No. Annex, that is fine. We are in a pretty risky situation here. So I'm gonna petty theft bounce the Embercleave. Because it still costs too much for them to redeploy it. And I'll block. Oh. And there you have it. I guess we had game there. As soon as they let the triggers resolve, we would have just deployed Spectral Sailor in response to any kind of lethal threat they could have deployed. Alright. Ooh, Liliana's Triumph. Card is really good outside of arena formats. In Legacy, well, before Oko, it was pretty good when Liliana was still playable. Now, we have anyone playing Liliana the Last Hope replacing it with Oko, because it fills the same role basically, but does it better. With the opt, I think this is pushed just inside the realm of playable. Although, yeah, I think this is just inside the realm of where we keep and are happy about it. It's really opt plus Sea Dasher that makes this something I'm willing to keep. And this is one of the cards I was considering keeping. Just have to do a quick assessment, and now that I know it's mono red, I think there's too much removal to lean on Sea Dasher anymore. There we go. I think we're still... No, I'm going to hold the Brazen Borrower for later. And I want to be able to deploy Slither Wisp on 3 if it's given, or if I'm given the opportunity. And as strange as it is to use the cast down this aggressively, I might just cast down the Lava Runner this turn. You know, as long as I don't lose now, I might give this the clickbaitiest title I can think of. Something like Dimmir Flash, Historic Meta Breaker. Gotta top a Wool Loss real quick. Alright, I'm gonna check if that's me that's lost connection or not real quick. Nope. Okay. And, yeah, that'll resolve. Alright, so I'm definitely cast downing the Runaway Steamkin. And not Brazen Borrowing it. It's just something that needs to go eventually no matter what. Holding on to the Borrower because it'll be a little more versatile in what I can answer with it. Not sure if I'm going to Mystical Dispute or deploy. Yeah, I'll Mystical Dispute now, I was going to say, or deploy the Sea Dasher. But for now I'll just continue to keep them off the board. That's just something I didn't want to borrow or bounce to get through a Sea Dasher, so I dealt with it. I'll Okay, 2 life. I don't think I'm Slither Wisping though, I think I'm Shark Typhooning. That's fine. Get as aggressive as you want, opponent. I encourage it. Chandra Fire Artisan. Okay, opponent or planeswalker only. Resolves.
You want to play with fire, huh?
This means I will deploy the Slither Wisp. I was expecting them to attack before they
No problem. Fire,
did anything.
that's all.
And I think I'll be attacking them after putting a Sea Dasher on my Slither Wisp. Under to keep my power up. Excellent. I think during the end step I'm going to bounce the Chandra with Raisin Borrower.
And watch it burn.
That is fine. I may stand corrected here. Let's see what I draw with my Spectral Sailor. Yeah, I think I Sea Dasher into it, and if I'm gonna bounce, I do it on my turn. Over. So this attacks them. Bounce their Chandra. I won't draw a card off of it, but that's fine. I have the negate for it if they try and redeploy it. And it's an interesting choice. Makes it really awkward to attack. I guess this is... I want to say it was Big Red, but because of the Chain Whirler and the Chandra, but maybe Mono Red just plays Chandra? At least in best of one. So I don't blame them for taking their time here. This is a difficult decision right now. Because they know that I bounced the Chandra for a reason. And they also don't necessarily want to attack with Chain Whirler if it means I get to connect with Slither Wisp, draw a card, and, you know, deal them 3. I think trading damage here drastically favors me. So I think they're just trying to figure out what their path to being able to win is. Then again, I don't know their hand. And if they have a hand full of burn, then trading damage drastically favors them. Although all of my cards are kind of burn spells as well. Lightning Strike. Do I stop it? I don't think I do. And that's why. I'd rather protect my Slither Wisp. Huh, no worries, you can get in for that damage, friend. Nice. And I'll deploy my Brineborn here, because there's no reason to wait. So, Spectral Sailor into negate here. Just making sure there's nothing else I'd rather do. Actually, I think I'd almost rather just brazen bounce it. Yeah, I think I'd rather brazen bounce it. Oh, that was the one reason I might not have. Because I have the Tyrant Scorn for their creature. Oh, there goes my Spectral Sailor on... Oh, right now. That's definitely wrong. And that's even better, because that will ping them as well. Sea Dasher. Under. And there you go. Lethal swing. Suppose it was already. I just didn't count it right. We're slowly cracking away at that daily quest. We'll have to play something worse later on to actually be able to get those, because I want to get the 750s instead of the 500s. Which is better value that way. Alright, so on the play, removal, opt against Gyruda. I'm gonna keep. Not sure how our Gyruda matchup is. I think we're gonna need to find counter spells, but opt can help with that. Really wish that there was a way for us to, how do you put it, get a companion of our own for this deck. No, that's about the best first threat I could ask for. Nice. And that's one of the cards I desperately wanted. Something to counter a Gyruda. I imagine they won't trade for my Brandborn. Could easily be wrong. If they do, it's the same as turning it into a Doomblade. Probably just gonna cycle my Shark Typhoon. Unless they give me a really good target for a dispute. If I get to cast down or Tyrant Scorn a ramp creature, I will. Oh. Well. Cast down that. More damage is indeed one of the many things I need. Still need a land drop now. And I will shock that in, which will let them know that something's up, but hopefully there's nothing they can do about it. Well, looks like I don't get to double spell. What did I do? Yeah, I'm still gonna counter that. Kind of need my threat to stick. And I do have another one, or I wouldn't have dreamed of making that play. Sadly, taking its ability away once it's on the stack doesn't do anything. Also not a creature I wanted to bounce with Tyrant Scorn. So if I counter Gyruda this turn, it should just be game. No, that's fine, I can just tap that. I see, they're more of a mid-rangey kind of a deal. Yeah, I have 7 damage. So, unless there's something crazy about to happen to me. That's annoying. Okay. Go tappity tap. Cycle, looking for more interaction. Don't really care about a 1/1. Imagining here goes the Brandborn. We still have Counter Gyruda plus Kill Obliterator mana open. In fact, we can do everything here. So, no matter how they slice it, we've got a considerably powerful board to deal with on their turn, after their turn. It is fine. Brandborn. Dispute. We didn't even get to Tyrant Scorn. Alright. So things are going pretty well for Big Flash. I'd say the deck is quite good, honestly. Claim that prize. And I think Shark Typhoon has been proving itself over Chemister's Insight, just creating big bodies. We can flood out, but we, when we have access to mana sinks, it's not really too much of a problem. 21 lands is definitely, I'd say more than enough, but putting it to 20 would be too few. Opponent first is a Lurrus deck. We have some removal against them and some card advantage. We'll keep. Mostly on the back of Shark Typhoon plus Sea Dasher. Turn 2, we will deploy Swamp. Uh-oh. Double uh-oh. Is that an island? Thank you, friend. Alright, so for that one, we're wasting no time here. That robber is dying. Saving the Heartless Act for Lurrus in the future. I do imagine this to be one of our bad matchups. A deck that gets out ahead of us. Alright, seems like they're running low on steam. Hopefully that isn't exactly what they wanted. Being, more mana. Oof. It was rough, buddy. Okay. I land. Pass turn. I think we're gonna Shark Typhoon. No? I think we're gonna just Sea Dasher. Without flying, it's a little unfortunate, but I'm gonna try and eat the Fervent Champion. Instead, trade with a Shock. That's fine. It's obviously not the greatest, but we are slowly but surely getting to where we can start to leverage our removal. Make a 2-2. Try again to eat the Fervent. Try and get some card advantage. Trade with a Shock again. Alright, now we're starting to get to be in trouble. Because we're already down to 6. Tapped Watery Grave. I think we're gonna go remove with Heartless Acts.